Okay, so this is another one of my messy drawings. For those who are familiar with my videos, they would know them and be familiar with them. For those who don't, well, I don't know what to tell you. I had a previous channel, Nympho Warrior G, and I don't know exactly what happened with it, whether Google canceled it or someone else tried to compromise it or hack it. I'm not really sure what the situation is, but I'm not impressed. I'm just going to keep doing my thing. So, yeah. Anyway, so this drawing is, I attempted to put everything, all of my ideas pertaining to magnetism, to condense them into 7 principles and to put most of them on a single page and a second page. And then I did another little drawing that kind of gives a sense of what it might look like in reality. So I just want to go through each of the ideas systematically. Hopefully my videos will remain on YouTube, the previous Nympho Warrior G ones. And if you are familiar with them and you're interested in them, I highly recommend that you try to download them, save them, and secure them in as many locations as possible. So at least the ones that are most relevant, the magnetic stuff, the spiritual stuff, and things like that. So just putting it out there, just being honest. So first, the basic concept, the first concept is that there are magnetic particles. And my kind of theory at this point is that the magnetic particles are, you have 2 types of magnetons, and then what comes out of them is electrons, photons, protons, neutrons. Now, I've been looking at the other physics theories, and I'm kind of curious if they parallel or if they diverge. I'm not really sure. So, but that's my basic concept at this point as far as magnetic particles. I may be mistaken on, the particle stuff, but that's one of the concepts of kind of a complete picture of magnetism. Now, with magnetic particles, regardless of what the facts are regarding them, you still are going to have 2 magnetic spins, one that is north, one that is south, one that is clockwise, one that is anti-clockwise. So you always have 2 spins regardless of what you call it, a muon, a gluon, or whatever the hell you call it. So that's just a fact. My theory is that each of the spins, north and south, one of them helps to emit or release or generate electrons, one photons. That may be accurate, it may be inaccurate. The magnetic spin theory comes from Albert Roy Davis and Walter C. Rawls. And as I said, the spins are clockwise and anti-clockwise. And the theory is that this is going on all scales, in all structures, that there's something that I call pan-magnetism going on, meaning that all is magnetism, or everything is a magnet. The next thing is, once you go from magnetic particles, magnetic spins, to magnetic current flows. This is very important. This is where it starts to get interesting and predictive. You have 3 types of magnetic current flows. You have diamond, which are these, you can see at the bottom here, these 4 north and 4 south diamond magnetic current flows, and then you have these diagonal north and south, and then you have these double helix or zigzag or whatever you want to call them, where you have the north current flow, south, etc., and you have vertical and horizontal. Now, what's interesting is there's one more extension of this idea of magnetic current flows, which I hadn't really touched on previously, but now I kind of started to see it. When you start to play it out on a larger scale, you have magnetic waves. And so I'm not sure how they flow exactly, but presumably you're going to have, I have these arrows and I've separated north and south, so you have these kind of waves of magnetic current flows, really going like this, north and south. And so that just gives you an idea, maybe makes you dizzy, gives you a sense of it. Then you have something that I think is new, that I added in a previous video, that's very important, and it's a correct understanding of how magnetic interactions occur. That the terms attractive, repulsive may actually be inaccurate, and the correct terms may be reactive and compulsive. Because when you look at what I've drawn here, when you bring the two south poles together, the two magnets shoot off in different directions. Well, that doesn't seem like repulsion. That's a reactive force. That's two spins meeting each other, and they just interact in a way that they shoot off in different directions. Not much different than anything else we see in physics. Likewise, and this is magnets specifically, I'm talking about magnet interactions, what we see with magnets. So then you have this compulsive kind of thing where you take the opposite spins, north and south, you bring them together, and the magnets are compelled to come together. Well, again, each of these instances, the reactive and the compulsive kind of things, rather than the attractive and the repulsive, what you're seeing is magnetic proof, evidence in magnets of magnetic current flows. And that's my basic premise. Now the next thing is, okay, after you have magnetic particles, magnetic spins, magnetic current flows, magnetic interactions, and as I said, magnetic waves, you then go a step further and you develop magnetic structures. And so all of these kind of become magnetic structures. Now there are a number of different ways to look at it. What I've put here is three different types of human form, and this is kind of like correlates very directly and actually gives some sort of magnetic theoretical support for the whole notions of Ayurvedic notions of the Kapha, Pitta, and Vata body types, as well as the endomorph, the ectomorph, the mesomorph, those three types, psychological types. I mean, these may actually be evidence of magnetic structures. So you have one that's balanced, which is kind of like the person that's kind of average build, height, so on. And then you have an unbalanced north, which is a real slight kind of individual, and then an unbalanced south, which is a real big person. I may have these mixed up, but the point is there's these three basic magnetic structures. Now, another way to look at magnetic structures is to look at them as magnetic spin structures. Now, this may not be clear in the video what it is I'm trying to show here, but what this is alternating spins. So this is alternating north-south spins, alternating clockwise, anti-clockwise. So what this is just a big oval, but it's got all kinds of little circles, little spins, some going, you have clockwise, anti-clockwise, clockwise, anti-clockwise, all the way throughout. And this is just a kind of visual representation of what a magnetic spin structure looks like. And that this basic principle that spin frequencies define the electrotonal structure of everything. So in other words, all these magnetic spins, you can call them spin frequencies. And they carry two things. They carry information and they carry energy. Information is spin direction, whether clockwise or anti-clockwise, and then energy is the force of the given spin. So depending how much magnetic spin force or magnetic current is localized in a given region or location, that's the force, the spin force. Now, another way to look at this, once you go beyond, okay, magnetic structures, magnetic spin structures, another way to visualize this is space as a magnetic lattice. And what I have here is just, north, south, north, south, north, south, and you can't make it out, but these are all just, north and south, horizontally and vertically. And it's showing that there's this magnetic spin and magnetic current alternation going on at all scales. Now, when you overlay this with this kind of principle of magnetic current flows or magnetic waves, what you're going to see is diagonal flows and double helix flows, diamond flows, and I did a little drawing just to kind of illustrate a better, kind of a more sort of a creative sense of it to try to map it out, just to show that this is just a rough sense of what it kind of looks like. So you have all these double helix kind of things going on, spinning, but in the background you have all these diagonals, which you can't really see too well in this picture, but also if you look closely you have these points where you have these diamond structures as well. And so I think that if you account for these three different types of magnetic current flows, specifically the diagonal, and then these diamond kind of shapes, and then these double helix structures, you can pretty much map out all structures in nature, because the theory is that they're all based, the whole magnetic lattice and the whole magnetic structures in any system, any scale, whether you're talking about a sun, a galaxy, an earth, a human being, a tree, they're all based on these magnetic spin frequencies releasing electrons and photons and producing electrophotonic kind of structure, which when you look at our muscles, our musculature, our organs, when you look at crystal structures, any number of other structures, they can be defined by and described by all of these kind of magnetic current flows. Not only the bilateral symmetry, you can see the left and right, spin. You can see spinning out from the center line when you look, a clockwise spin and an anti-clockwise spin, on the left and the right side of the human body. So I mean, this is evidently, a spin is the correct description of everything.